Imagine you're wrapped in a hug that lingers just a second too long. At first, it feels warm and comforting, but as the seconds stretch on, 30, 45, 60, you instinctively start to pull away. Why? Because even the most beautiful things in life have their rhythm and space. Holding on too tight, clinging too long, it disrupts the natural flow, the dance of closeness and freedom. Relationships are exactly the same. Like two dancers who need room to move and breathe, people need space to feel alive, to feel attracted, to feel themselves. And this, my dear friends, is where the magic of detachment comes in. Detachment isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being magnetically free, confidently independent, and emotionally wise. It's the secret dance move that pulls him in without you even trying. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Brain from MSP, and today we're diving deep into why men are extremely attracted to women who know how to detach. This isn't about the usual advice you've heard 1,000 times, like playing hard to get or ghosting when you feel anxious. No, this is the real deal. We're going beyond the surface, unpacking how detachment is a mindset, an art, a way of living that creates irresistible attraction. Think of it like the Stoics taught us. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. And Carl Jung's wisdom that to master others, we must first master ourselves. Simone de Beauvoir reminds us, change your life today. Don't gamble on the future. And today, you'll learn how to change your approach to love and connection in a way that honors your worth and sets you free. Before we jump in, if you're ready to take control of your love life and understand how to attract without chasing, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Because here, we don't just talk about dating, we talk about transformation, empowerment, and self-love. Trust me, this journey will give you tools not just for dating, but for life. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore how to shift your mindset from needing to becoming, how to embrace uncertainty like a thrilling mystery rather than a scary trap, and how to stop projecting your desires onto someone else's soul. You'll discover how real detachment is about loving without losing yourself and staying engaged without desperation. Imagine planting a garden. You don't force the flowers to bloom. You nurture the soil, water the roots, and trust the process. That's detachment in relationships. So here's a fun little task to start you off. Take a moment, close your eyes, and say to yourself, detach to attract. Write that down in the comments below. Show the universe you're ready. Show yourself you're ready. Because when you say it out loud, you start to believe it. And that belief, that's magnetic. Get ready, because what comes next will change how you think about love, connection, and power. Let's dive into the art of detachment, the magnetic force that draws him in without you having to hold on tight. Number 1. Inputs versus outputs. Control what you can. All right, let's crank up the voltage and get real. Here's the truth that most women miss. You don't control the outcome, but you do control what you put in. Picture this. Dating is like planting a garden. You can water the seeds, give them sunlight, tend the soil, but no matter how hard you wish, you can't force the flowers to bloom overnight. Trying to control the outcome, like obsessing over when he'll text back, is like shaking the plant every 5 minutes, hoping the petals will pop open faster. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. All you do is stress yourself out and scare the flowers away. Philosophers have known this forever. Confucius said, "He who chases 2 rabbits catches none." It means if you're trying to grab every possible outcome or chasing every little sign from him, you end up with nothing. Your energy is scattered, your vibe is off, and men can sense that anxiety like a smoke alarm going off. Instead, focus on your inputs, the things you can actually control. Your actions, your attitude, your growth. Water your own garden. You might be thinking, but brain, what if I don't get a text back? Doesn't that mean I did something wrong? Here's the thing, that's the outcome, and you can't control his feelings or his schedule. What you can control is how you spend your time, how you nurture your confidence, and how you show up for yourself every day. When you focus on these inputs, the anxiety fades, and your natural magnetic self shines through. Carl Jung put it simply, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. What does that mean? You can't keep running on autopilot, stressing over his silence or his mixed signals. You have to bring awareness to what you're doing, stop obsessing about his texts, and start investing in your own happiness and growth. So here's your challenge. Stop refreshing your phone every 2 minutes. Instead, do something that lights you up. Read a book, go for a walk, call a friend. Anything that's your input. When you focus on what you can control, you stop chasing and start attracting. Remember, flowers bloom best when you're not staring at them every second. Say this out loud with me now. I control my vibe. Write it in the comments. Show it to the universe. Show it to yourself. Because when you own your power, attraction follows effortlessly. Get ready. Next, we're diving into the wild world of uncertainty and why embracing it makes you unstoppable. Stay tuned. Number 2, the power of uncertainty. Embrace the unknown. Uncertainty. It's the spicy, unpredictable ingredient in the recipe of dating and life. You can't escape it, no matter how much you wish for a crystal-clear script. Imagine this. You're watching a TV show with a killer plot twist coming up, but instead of sitting back and enjoying the suspense, you're glued to the screen, freaking out about what might happen next. That's exactly how most women treat uncertainty in dating, like a threat instead of a thrill. But here's the twist. Uncertainty isn't your enemy, it's your playground. Philosophers have wrestled with this too. Plato's famous allegory of the cave tells us that sometimes we're not seeing the real people in front of us, just shadows, projections of what we want them to be. You meet a man and paint him as the perfect partner before really knowing him, expecting him to be consistent or ready when the relationship has barely begun. You're chasing shadows, not reality. And when those shadows don't match your expectations, you feel hurt, frustrated, or confused. Carl Jung nailed this when he said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This means if you don't face your own fears, doubts, and projections, they control your actions, and you blame external events for your pain. Instead, bring your hidden thoughts into the light. Ask yourself, am I reacting to who he really is, or the idea of who I want him to be? That awareness is freedom. Here's a fun way to look at it. Think about the excitement of waiting for that plot twist in your favorite show. You don't try to fast forward or skip the parts. You savor the mystery, letting curiosity bubble up. Dating is the same. Lean into the unknown with curiosity and patience. Be like a detective gathering clues instead of a desperate gambler trying to force a win. So how do you turn uncertainty into your secret weapon? Stop fighting the unknown. Dance with it. Know that every question mark is an opportunity to learn more about yourself and the other person. When you treat uncertainty as a playground, you become more relaxed, more attractive, and way more in control of your emotions. Say it loud, I embrace the unknown. Drop that in the comments. Show it to the universe, and most importantly, show it to yourself. Because when you love the mystery, the right story will unfold naturally. Next up, we'll tackle the difference between needing and becoming. Get ready to shift your mindset and level up your love life. Number 3, needing versus becoming, the secret to attracting love. Let's get real. Needing something too much is like trying to hug a magnet and ending up pushing it away. When you cling with desperation, your energy screams, "Stay away," even if your heart is shouting, "Please come closer." It's wild how the more you need love, attention, or approval, the more it slips right through your fingers. But here's the secret: becoming who you want to be. That's the real magnet. When you relax into your power and joy, love doesn't chase you. It's drawn to you. Growing up in my family, money always felt like it was running away from us. We chased it, worried about it, and the harder we tried to hold on, the faster it seemed to disappear. It wasn't just about cash. It was about the pressure, the need for security that turned into anxiety. I realized that this same pattern shows up in dating. When you need someone to fill a hole inside you, you're not attracting a partner, you're creating distance. Simone de Beauvoir once said, "Change your life today. Don't gamble on the future. Act now, without delay." This isn't just philosophy. It's a call to stop waiting for love or success to magically appear. It's about becoming the woman who already feels complete, confident, and joyful. When you focus on your own growth, whether it's learning a new skill, pursuing your passions, or simply enjoying your own company, you send a powerful message to the universe. You're ready. So, instead of obsessing over whether he texted back or if he's thinking about you, invest that energy into becoming your best self. Imagine a magnet. If you grip it tightly, it pushes away. If you hold it gently, it pulls you in effortlessly. That gentle hold is your calm confidence and self-love. Here's your challenge. Today, do one thing just for you. It can be as simple as dancing to your favorite song, writing down what makes you proud, or trying something new. Let yourself become that magnetic woman who doesn't just want love, she attracts it. Say it loud and proud. I become, I attract. Write that in the comments, show it to the universe, and most importantly, to yourself. Because when you become the energy you want, love will follow. Ready to dive deeper? Next up, we'll explore how to let go without losing yourself. Number 4, letting go without losing yourself. Letting go doesn't mean giving up or becoming cold. It means caring deeply without clinging so tightly that you lose yourself. Think of it like holding water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more water slips right through your fingers. The same goes for love and connection. When you clutch too hard, whether it's waiting obsessively for a text or trying to control how a man feels, you only push the good stuff further away. Real detachment is about a gentle hold where you care, but you don't suffocate. Here's a real-life example. Imagine you're waiting for his message. Every minute feels like an hour. You check your phone, refresh again, and your mind spirals into, what if he's not interested? Now compare that to living fully. Going out with friends, chasing your dreams, laughing at silly memes, and feeling so confident that his message is a bonus, not a lifeline. Which energy sounds more magnetic? When you live your life fully, you're the woman who naturally draws men in because your world doesn't revolve around them. It shines independently. There's a beautiful quote that says, "The greatest freedom is to let go." It's simple but powerful. Letting go frees you from the heavy chains of neediness and fear. It opens space for genuine connection because you're coming from wholeness, not desperation. Here's a fun tip. Think of dating like salsa dancing. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow, but if you grip your partner's hand so tight that they feel trapped, guess what? They'll want to run off the dance floor. The secret is to move fluidly, stay connected, but give each other room to breathe and shine. That's the rhythm of healthy relationships. So here's your challenge. Next time you find yourself obsessing over a message or a moment, pause and remind yourself that love isn't about holding on desperately. It's about flowing freely. Practice the dance of detachment and watch how your relationships start to feel lighter and more joyful. Say it loud. I care, I flow. Write that in the comments, send it out to the universe, and remind yourself daily, because when you let go just enough, you open the door to love that's real and lasting. Up next, we're going to explore how to see people clearly without projecting your fantasies onto them. Number 5, seeing people clearly. Stop projecting your needs. One of the sneakiest traps in dating is projection. It's when you put your hopes, fears, and expectations onto someone else instead of seeing them for who they truly are. Picture meeting a man and instantly creating this perfect version of him in your mind, the guy who will text back on time, be your emotional rock, and fit all your dreams perfectly. But when the real guy shows up, he doesn't match that image, and disappointment crashes in like a thunderstorm. What just happened? You projected your desires onto him, and now you're upset because reality didn't fit your fantasy. Carl Jung, the brilliant psychologist, taught us about this. He said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Translation: the qualities you get frustrated with in someone else often mirror something inside you, maybe a fear, a hope, or even an unhealed part of yourself. Jung called this the shadow self, the part of you that hides in the background but influences how you see the world. When you realize that your disappointments are as much about you as about the other person, you start to step out of projection. Imagine wearing sunglasses that tint everything pink. You see the world through a rosy filter, but it's not the actual color of things. It's your lens coloring reality. Dating through projection is like wearing those sunglasses. You're not seeing him clearly, just a version that fits your needs. And loving someone means loving who they actually are, not the idea of who you want them to be. Here's a motivational nudge. Practice curiosity and acceptance. Instead of rushing to label or judge, ask yourself, who is this person beneath my expectations? When you get curious instead of critical, you open the door to real connection and stop chasing illusions. It's like peeling an onion. Sometimes it stings, but the layers reveal the truth. So next time you catch yourself daydreaming about the perfect him, pause and check in. Are you loving a person or a picture in your mind? Challenge yourself to see clearly, accept fully, and love honestly. Say this with me: I see clearly, I love truly. Drop it in the comments, send it out to the universe, and most importantly, remind yourself every day, because clarity is magnetic and real love can only grow in truth. Get ready. Coming up, we'll dive into the power of self-worth and why you don't need anyone else's validation to shine. Number 6, the role of self-worth, why you don't need validation. True detachment isn't about shutting people out or pretending you don't care. It's about building a foundation so strong inside that you don't need anyone else's approval to feel whole. Imagine yourself as your own sun. You don't need clouds or someone else's light to shine bright. Your glow comes from within. When you depend on someone else's validation, like waiting for a text, a compliment, or a sign, you're essentially waiting for clouds to part so your sun can peek through. But clouds are unpredictable, and waiting on them leaves you freezing in emotional winter. Think about it like this. When you rely on outside approval, it's like standing outside in the cold, shivering, hoping someone will offer you a warm jacket. But self-worth? That's your internal heater. It warms you up from the inside, no matter what the weather outside looks like. It keeps you glowing even when the world feels cold and distant. Plato said it best: the first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. What he meant was mastering your own mind and emotions is the ultimate power move. When you conquer your doubts, insecurities, and the need for external validation, you're untouchable. You become the woman who doesn't just wait to be loved. She loves herself fiercely and completely. Building self-worth is like working out a muscle. The more you practice self-love, set boundaries, and affirm your value, the stronger you get. And guess what? Strength attracts strength. When you radiate confidence and self-respect, men notice. You don't have to chase attention. It comes to you naturally. Here's a real-life moment. Remember those times you waited anxiously for a like on social media or a message from someone? How did that feel? Uncertain, powerless, maybe even a little desperate. Now imagine flipping that script. Feeling proud of your own achievements, laughing with friends, chasing your dreams without needing a single text to validate your worth. That's the heat of self-love warming your soul. So today, give yourself permission to be your own sun. Turn inward for light and warmth. Say this with me: I am my own light. Write it down, shout it out, and send it into the universe, because when you shine from within, attraction becomes effortless. Number 7. Staying engaged without desperation. Being engaged in a relationship doesn't mean gripping so tightly you suffocate, nor does it mean drifting away like a ghost. It's more like sailing a boat. You're on the water, and you can adjust your sails to catch the wind, but you can't control the wind itself. You have to work with what's there, not fight against it. When you try to control every breeze or wave, you end up exhausted and stuck. But if you learn to adjust your sails with patience and skill, you'll glide smoothly toward your destination. That's the balance between involvement and desperation in love. Think about the process of posting videos on YouTube or any creative project. When I started, I obsessed over views, likes, and numbers. Every video felt like a test. Will I make it? Will people notice me? That pressure killed my joy and creativity. But the moment I shifted my focus to improving my skills, better camera, clearer voice, stronger storytelling, the success came naturally. I stopped chasing results and started controlling my efforts. The views followed, not because I begged for attention, but because I showed up consistently, joyfully, and with patience. This idea echoes the wisdom of the Stoics, especially Epictetus, who said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do." In other words, stop fighting reality and instead accept it. Focus on what you can influence, your attitude, your actions, your growth, and let the rest unfold as it will. Trying to force a relationship or push a man to behave a certain way only builds frustration and anxiety. Instead, stay engaged by showing up fully, but without desperate attachment to a specific outcome. So how do you practice this joyful engagement? It starts with shifting your mindset from "I need this to happen" to "I'm open to what comes." Engage in conversations, enjoy shared moments, but don't cling to what should happen next. Keep your sails flexible, ready to adjust as the wind changes. Here's your challenge. Next time you feel that tug of anxiety or neediness, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I adjust my sails. I trust the wind. Write it in the comments, shout it to the universe, and most importantly, believe it yourself. Because when you combine joy with patience, attraction flows naturally and effortlessly. Number 8, putting it all together, your detachment action plan. Let's bring it all home. Over this journey, we've learned some powerful truths. Control what you can, your inputs, while letting go of the outcomes. Embrace uncertainty as an exciting part of love's adventure. Shift from needing to becoming, so you attract rather than chase. See people clearly without projecting your fantasies. Build unshakable self-worth that shines from within, and stay engaged in relationships without slipping into desperation. These aren't just tips, they're a new way of living that makes you magnetic. Now, here's your practical daily action plan for detachment. Start each day by grounding yourself in what you control, your thoughts, your actions, your vibe. When anxiety or doubt creeps in, remind yourself to embrace the unknown like a mystery to explore, not a threat to fear. Focus on growth. What skills, hobbies, or self-love practices can you nurture? See the people around you clearly. Ask yourself, am I loving the person or the idea of the person? Build your self-worth daily with affirmations and self-care, because you're your own sun, lighting up your world. And when you engage with others, do so joyfully, adjusting your sails without trying to control the wind. Imagine your inner world like a garden. You plant seeds of confidence, water them with self-love, pull out the weeds of projection and anxiety, and patiently wait for beautiful flowers to bloom. You don't force the growth, you nurture it and trust the process. That's how attraction grows naturally and effortlessly. When you're thriving inside, the right people can't help but be drawn to your light. So here's your fun, empowering closer. Detach like a queen, attract like a goddess. Say it loud, write it down, and make it your mantra. Because when you master detachment, you don't just find love, you become love. Remember the words of Simone de Beauvoir, change your life today, don't gamble on the future. The time to start your detachment journey is right now. To wrap things up, remember that detachment isn't about shutting down your feelings. It's about embracing your power, loving yourself fully, and letting attraction flow naturally. When you focus on what you can control, welcome uncertainty, and nurture your self-worth, you become magnetic without chasing. Practice these steps daily and watch your relationships transform. If you found value in this video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more insights, and share this with a friend who needs to hear it.